I think I have a pretty solid idea for a DCU Green Arrow project. Also, how's this new kind of configuration looks? Like it's the same, but like I'm at an angle. So welcome back to Sam Talks Nerdy. Hope you're happy, doing well, dominating life, crushing it. There are plenty of characters yet to join the DCU. Some that I am really waiting for are Green Arrow, Flash, Nightwing, and to kind of quell my anxiousness and excitement for these characters, I started to do something on my Instagram called My Vision Posts, where for a character in the Marvel or DC universe, I come up with I sort of describe how I would do a project for them sent, based in the DCU or the MCU. And I've done one for Nightwing. He actually kicked out this whole thing because it really popped off on my Instagram. Green Arrow, The Flash, the JSA, Batman Beyond, and then and a few DC ones or a few Marvel ones. Not a lot of Marvel ones, to be honest. I've done one for Nova, the X-Men, and Ghost Rider. But I thought I would do a video version of these posts so I can maybe elaborate more on a few things that I couldn't do in an Instagram carousel. So, starting off, I want to talk about how I would do a DCU Green Arrow project. So, do I see Green Arrow getting either a movie, limited series, or a TV series in the DCU? I'm going to say I can see him getting a limited series. I honestly feel like limited series is like the best move for a lot of characters. And of course, for my first point or my first thing is do not make it a repeat of Arrow. Do not make him Green Batman with a bow and arrow. I mean, come on, we got playing that for like what, 9 seasons? Have Green Arrow actually feel like Green Arrow, all the way down to the Van Dyke. As to what runs I would use for this limited series, I would use Mike Grell's run and Judd Winnick's run on Green Arrow. Because I think both runs could allow a sort of balance between dark storylines and lighthearted moments. I mean, I won't lie, I haven't read them, which I mean, then why am I mentioning them? Because they are, from what I've heard, some pretty good to decent runs, and I think it could really allow for the tone I'm going for here. And also, I do want to read them, but I'm working through a backlog right now, so those will have to wait. The story is basically that Green Arrow and Black Canary have been away from Star City for a few years in Seattle, which is the setting for the Micro run. And after a few years of being away in sort of, I won't say exile, but maybe in hiding, they return to Star City to see that it is in a very bad state. And to clarify, I would say that Green Arrow and Black Canary have been active in the DCU for a while now. Maybe around as long as Batman, maybe a little less. But like I said, the story is basically just they return to Star City after fleeing to Seattle for a while, and they left Star City in the care of Roy Harper, which maybe this could also tie into his substance abuse. And when they return, they learn that the state's not in a good place, and it's being ruled by a new kingpin named Brick. He's also in sort of a gang war with another crime lord, China White. I see Brick being the villain of season one, and then China White would be the villain of season two. Just to sort of like to take Brick down, and China White's like, oh, I get control the city now, and then they take her down, and then we go from there. When it comes to the Green Arrow family, I would also start small. Start with hold on a second, sleeves. I would start with Green Arrow, Black Canary, Roy Harper, and then later on I would bring in Connor Hawk and Amiko Queen. Some other villains I can see being introduced as sort of main bad guys in later seasons could be Constantine Draken, Count Vertigo. I mean, definitely you need Count Vertigo in a better version than what we got in Arrow, and a Dark Archer. I will elaborate more on that later. For some side villains that I can see showing up, definitely Automatopoeia. He would be awesome. If not, maybe make him a main villain in it for a season. I don't know. Like, he can work either way. Komodo, Cupid, Clock King, the Star Slay Slayer, which could maybe provide for a more darker storyline from the Kevin Smith run. Maybe have him be a villain that Green Arrow countered early in his career. Be like provide some of those like Arrow flashbacks where they kind of tie into the present day a little bit. Silver Monkey, maybe not. Maybe he's and weirdly, Silver Monkey, like he could be an enforcer for China White. And Bullseye the Clown, like he's a real deep cut GA villain, which I think could be, maybe add some sort of like a cannon fodder villain or something like that. Or maybe he's someone that Brick hires, like think Kazi the Clown from the Hawkeye run. Well, actually, is that a good idea? Because that might cause some problems. Now, a lot of these guys that I mentioned could also work as hired guns for Brick and China White. And honestly, I never really thought about how long a limited series for Green Arrow could go. Because for my Nightwing series, I think I said like 3 seasons, but they can do 5 if they really kind of stretch and push things. But with Green Arrow, it just depends on what kind of wants to be done. I mean, with me, the whole story will be about them Green Arrow trying to reestablish his presence in Star City and also kind of get it back up to where he left it at when he left for Seattle. And so I don't know. So Brick and China White will be the first 2 villains, and then so maybe 3 seasons. Just have like Brick and China White be villains for the first 2 seasons, and then for maybe a 3rd season, the final villain could be Count Vertigo. And you end off on one of his bigger villains, or maybe have it be a team up between Count Vertigo and a Dark Archer. Which, speaking of Dark Archer, so what if the reason why Green Arrow and Black Canary fled Star City was because Green Arrow killed Malcolm Merlin? And so when they return to Star City and cleaning things up, they start seeing killings that follow the same MO as the Dark Archer. So they're thinking like, is he somehow alive? Is Malcolm Merlin back? But no, it's not Malcolm Merlin. It's Tommy Merlin. Yeah. Maybe. Well, actually, no. Actually, let me take back what I said about Count Vertigo. So maybe don't have Vertigo be the final villain and have it be the Dark Archer, Tommy Merlin. And then maybe Oliver dies fighting Tommy Merlin, and then that's when Connor Hawke steps up and takes up the mantle of being the Green Arrow of the DCU. Now that could work. That actually might be that might be better. Or actually, no. I'm starting to really regret doing that as a video because now I don't think like maybe it's kind of hard to do all this. But okay, so season 1 villain Brick, season 2 villain China White, season 3 Count Vertigo. And then for the final season, so 4 seasons, Dark Archer or Tommy Merlin. And that's when we end the story of Oliver Queen Green Arrow, and then we pick up with Connor Hawke, where maybe he will be the Green Arrow going forward in DCU, he'll join the League and all that. And that's my really rough idea for a Green Arrow limited series. Maybe honestly, I won't lie to you. I think my Nightwing series was a bit more better, more well thought of than this. But hey, I tried. So maybe if this video does well enough, I'll do one over Nightwings, and hopefully that'll be a lot better. But I guess I'm curious, what do you all think of my really rough idea for a Green Arrow limited series? Love it? Hate it? What would you do differently? Or what would you do for a DCU Green Arrow project? Comment below. If you're listening via my podcast on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave me a 5-star rating and a good review where you can. If you're watching me on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you or talk to you next time. Peace out.